The jungle closes in as the last shots fade into a heavy, suffocating silence. Smoke drifts between shattered trees, and the woundedly scattered across the muddy ground. A small group of exhausted allied soldiers emerge from cover, their uniforms torn, faces hollow from days of fighting without rest. Ammunition is gone, radios are dead, and the enemy surrounds them from every direction. When the order to cease fire echoes through the trees, surrender becomes unavoidable. Weapons fall into the mud, and hands rise slowly, some trembling from fear, others from rush they can no longer express. They marched for days under a burning sun, tied together, beating for slowing down, watching comrades collapse and never rise again. By the time the prison camp appears, carved into the jungle like a wound that refuses to heal, the men already stripped of their former identities. Inside the barbed wire, cruelty is systematic and routine. Roll calls last for horrors, food is barely enough to survive, and punishment is public, meant to crush the spirit as much as the body. Yet even in the first nights, whispered conversations begin in the darknesses, names, prayers, fragments of home, small acts of memory that quietly declare they are still human. Days blur into weeks as the rhythm of the camp grinds everyone down. Before dawn, guards drag the prisoners from their huts, forcing them into endless labor, hauling timber, carving roads through rock, carrying loads too heavy for starving men. The jungle itself feels like an enemy, alive with insects, disease, and heat that never relents. Each collapse is met with a rifle butt or a kick, and sometimes with nothing at all, the guards stepping over bodies as if they are already dead. At night, the camp changes. In the shadows, suffering gives way to quiet resistance. A farmer teacher begins reciting lessons from memory, turning scraps of dirt into a classroom. A medic risks his life stealing supplies to treat infected wounds. Fate, philosophy, and humor become weapons stronger than fists. Arguments break out, whether hope is foolish, whether obedience is the only path to survival, but slowly a bond forms among the men. They begin to understand that survival is not just staying alive until morning, but refusing to let the camp define who they are. The tension finally erupts when rumors spread that several prisoners are to be executed as an example. Fear ripples through the camp, but so does resolve. A small group secretly plans an escape, knowing the ODD is almost non-existent. On the chosen night, rain pours down, masking merriment and muffling sound. Wire is cut with styling towels, and for a brief moment freedom feels close enough to touch. Then a shout tears through the darknesses. Gunfire explodes, flares light the sky, and chaos swallows the camp. By dawn, the escape has failed. Some men lie dead in the mud, others are dragged back, broken and bleeding. The punishment is brutal, meant to erase any thought of resistance forever. Yet as the surviving prisoners stand at attention, bruised and barely conscious, something has changed. They have seen that fear is not absolute, that defiance, no matter how costly, can still exist. The guards may control their bodies, but the camp no longer OWNS their will, and that realization quietly marks the beginning of the end.